Let's talk about hybrid identity. If your business has one foot on premises and the other in the cloud, you know exactly the headache I'm talking about, managing two completely separate worlds. Well, today we're going to talk about the solution. So let's be real, your business is a hybrid, right? You've got your own data centers, but you're also taking advantage of the cloud. I mean, that's just how things are done these days. The problem is, this split, it can create a huge identity crisis, especially when you think about security and who gets access to what.
And here's the thing. Your team, they don't care that you have two different systems. They just see one company. They expect to log in once and get to everything they need, whether it's an internal dashboard or some tool up in the cloud. But if you're stuck managing two different sets of logins for everyone, man, that's not just annoying, it's a massive security risk.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we build that bridge between these two worlds? Well, the answer is pretty elegant, actually. We create a single, unified identity for every single user, an identity that just works, no matter where they are or what they're trying to get to. And that is what we call hybrid identity. It's one identity that does two really important jobs. First, there's authentication, proving you are who you say you are. Think of it like showing your ID at the door. Then there's authorization, which is basically the list of rooms you're allowed into once you're inside. And the real magic here? This one ID works everywhere, on-prem, in the cloud, you name it. The goal is super simple when you boil it down. One person, one identity, one password. That's it. This identity basically becomes their master key, unlocking everything they need, whether it's a file on a local server or some app in the cloud. And the best part, the user never even has to think about where that stuff lives. All right, that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? What are the nuts and bolts? How do we get our on-prem servers in the cloud to talk to each other and keep these identities in sync? So it really comes down to two key processes. First up is provisioning. This is just the initial setup. You take a user account from your on-prem world, say Active Directory, and you create a matching account for them in the cloud. Easy enough, but it's the second part, synchronization, that's the real game changer. This is the ongoing part that keeps everything matched up. So let's say a user gets a promotion and needs new access rights. You change it in one place and boom, it's automatically updated everywhere else. Now, obviously, you're not going to do all this by hand. You need a tool to do the heavy lifting of both provisioning and syncing. So let's talk about one of the main tools that gets this job done. Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync is a perfect example. I mean, this is exactly what it was built for, to grab your on-prem user info, get it set up in the cloud, and then just keep it all perfectly in sync all the time. Okay, so we know what we want to do and why it's so important. But now, for the really cool part, how does it work? I mean, how do you build this secure bridge from your private internal network out to the cloud without, opening up a giant security hole? Well, here's the secret sauce. You've got your local Active Directory on one side and Microsoft Entra ID in the cloud on the other. And the connection, that bridge between them, it's a tiny, lightweight little piece of software called an agent. It sits on your on-prem network and acts as that secure bridge, pushing all the identity info up to the cloud. So this bridge has a name. It's the Microsoft Entra Cloud Provisioning Agent. And I want you to focus on that word lightweight. We're not talking about installing some huge, complicated piece of software that's going to bog down your servers. No way. It's a small, simple agent you put on-prem. All the hard stuff, all the configuration, that's all handled up in the cloud, which makes your life way, way easier.
So what's the actual process look like? It's actually super simple. Step 1. You install that lightweight agent on-prem. Step 2, you pop into the cloud and set up your rules, basically telling it who and what to sync. Step 3, the agent just takes it from there and does its thing. And boom, step 4, you've done it. You have a common hybrid identity for your users.
Okay, but wait, there's one last piece of the puzzle we need to talk about. For all this communication to work, for the on-prem world and the cloud world to talk to each other, they have to be speaking the same language, right? And that's where a universal standard is absolutely crucial. And that language has a name. It's called SIM. That's SCIM. The easiest way to think about it is like a universal translator for identity stuff. It creates a standard way to talk about users. So when your system on-prem says, hey, create a new user named Jane Doe, the cloud system knows exactly what to do. It's a protocol that makes this whole thing possible. And this is why SIM is such a big deal. It's an open standard. That means you're not locked into one specific company's way of doing things. It's the industry standard, which gives you better compatibility, more options, and honestly, it just makes your whole identity strategy way more future-proof. All right, let's do a quick recap. We started with that two-world problem. The solution? Hybrid identity. We make it happen with two key actions, provisioning and synchronization. We saw how tools like Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync use a little agent to build that secure bridge. And we learned the whole thing is powered by a standard called SIM, the universal language for all this stuff.
So here's the bottom line. In today's hybrid world, identity is literally the new perimeter. It's the key to your security. It's the key to keeping your people productive. So the real question you got to ask yourself isn't if you need a bridge between your on-prem and cloud worlds, it's how strong is your bridge?